Hey, Ed with RV Guy Mobile RV Service here. I get asked a lot, either in person or on forums, what tools do I need to service my RV? Well, I'm here to tell you, it's not as much as you think. I have a Husky tool bag that I think is about 14 inches long and about 10 or 12 inches wide, and about the same deep that I carry all my everyday tools in. That's it. The stuff I'm going to show you is basically everything I use on a daily basis. There's a few other things that are in my truck that I use occasionally that you don't need to have with you all the time. So we're going to break it down in those two sections. So what I carry every day, what I use every day, what I have as backup in case I need other stuff. So let's get going and start right here. So right in front of me I have some pliers. Various assorted pliers, different kinds, both electrical and non-electrical. So we'll start here. Adjustable jaw pliers. Super convenient, very versatile. You can use these for a lot of different things. So this is I don't recall what size this is, but this is a Crescent brand. It's a nice set. It holds up pretty well. I like this one a lot. Then I've got a set of lineman pliers. Since we do electrical work as service technicians, a good set of lineman's pliers is versatile. You can cut heavy gauge wire with it. You can pound with it. You can obviously grab wires and twist them to make a proper splice. Very nice set. I like these a lot. I don't even know where I got these. I think I found these laying on the road. So really good set of pliers. I've got a couple of needle nose pliers. I have a standard, inexpensive pair of needle nose. Then I have a 10,000 volt rated, insulated pair of needle nose. I like these because sometimes I've got to reach in to things that may have power around it. And just for my safety, I use these. These are Pittsburgh, so this is Harbor Freight stuff. It's not super expensive, but it's worthwhile investing in a set of insulated pliers. Wire crimpers. There are a lot of crimp connections in the RVs. So a lot of the 12 volt wiring is crimped. So you may need to put a new butt connector on there or a spade end or something like that. So get a nice set of these. This is also Harbor Freight. Not very expensive. And I've had these for, 5.5 years or so, and they're holding up great. Diagonal pliers for cutting wire, cutting zip ties, a lot of things. These are another very inexpensive set, but they have a very sharp jaw on them. It cuts things very nicely. And then a set of wire strippers. This is a Klein set, so this is a little more expensive. But it's a very nice stripper. Does a good job of cutting cleanly, cutting through the insulation and not cutting the conductors inside. I believe I picked this up at Home Depot. So nice set. No contact infrared thermometer. So this is a good tool to have to measure your brake temperatures and bearing temperatures as you drive, and if you have any suspicions about that. You can measure the delta T temperature of your air conditioner to measure the performance of it, measure the output of your furnace, generally check temperatures of anything you want, barbecue grill, whatever. So nice little tool, not a very expensive one. I believe this is Harbor Freight as well. E-Tech City Laser Grip 774. So works great. Standard old tape measure. This is 25 foot. I should have a 30-foot one in my truck, but this is the one I keep out of my bag because most of the stuff I'm measuring is small, so I don't need to have the big one out. So 25-foot tape measure. You probably won't need it very much as an RV user, but you never know. So there you are. Electrical tape. Can't say any more about that. So in plumbing world, you need to seal up leaks. So Teflon tape for threaded connections. I carry one roll in my bag. I have others in the truck. When you're buying Teflon tape, make sure you're buying it for the right application. White is for water, and yellow is for gas. So don't use the white stuff when you're putting connections together on your LP system. Use the yellow stuff, or use the gas-rated pipe dope. I've got a set of vice grips, Harbor Freight again, inexpensive. They hold up pretty well. They got a good bite on them. This is a teeny tiny one. This is the intermediate one. I have the big ones in the truck. I use these for a bunch of different reasons. This fly is bugging me here. The little tiny ones I use when I'm putting awnings on. And you might say, like, what are you talking about? Well, I have a contraption that I rigged up that involves a rope, a pulley, a way to attach the pulley to one of the vertical sections of an awning arm. So that makes it where one person can put an awning on without requiring assistance. So this small one I use to grip the awning fabric and the rope, squeeze it together, and then I pull from the other side of that, and I can pull that awning fabric through the track. So next up, I've got some Allen wrenches here that I use. This is about 3/4 of the set that I have. This is a Harbor Freight set. It comes with a indexed rack. I keep these in my bag because I use them frequently. This green one especially. This is the 5/32 size. This is the size of the Allen screw that's on a lot of 12-volt converters for the battery connections. So I keep this right close all the time. It has painter's tape on it to insulate the shaft, because when you're reaching down in there, it's a possibility of touching the metal body of the converter. So I just eliminated that potential. And some of these other ones you use for the mountings for fans and some other stuff that's in an RV. So I carry those with me. All right, let's go with some other tools here. Another Harbor Freight set. This is a 6-piece combination wrench set with ratcheting box end. Color coded. You know, the color's falling off after cleaning it. The color doesn't like the disinfecting tools or cloths that I use. So, but this is a nice set. And you're like, Ed, how come you're buying Harbor Freight? Why not? If the tool works, use it. This is a great little inexpensive set. It comes on sale frequently. It's got a lot of teeth in there. You can hear it. So it's a good little set. I like it. I bought it because I like the colors. It was easy to identify, but now that I know where they sit in the rack, it's not a big deal. But good set. All right, sockets. I've seen guys in their RVs, both in motorhomes and in travel trailers, that feel the need to have a full-on mechanic's tool chest in their rig. If you got the space and you can handle the weight, fine. Do what you want to do. It doesn't matter. But why carry the extra weight? More weight means less fuel economy, more space taken up on stuff that you're not going to use all the time. I mean, literally, I go to some motorhomes, and if I open one of the bays, there is a toolbox the size of the basement compartment. You know, this high with 4 or 5 drawers, and 3 or 4 feet wide, with all kinds of tools. 1/2 inch, 3/4 inch sockets. That's wrenches that are, 2 feet long. For your everyday use, you don't need that. This right here, this little socket set and this socket set here I'm going to show you is all that I use mostly on a daily basis. A few exceptions, stuff is in the truck. But again, most of the stuff you're working on is got small size fasteners. not a lot of torque, so you're not trying to break something that's, torqued to 120 foot-pounds or something ridiculous like that. You're using small size fasteners. So this is a little set. This is Lowe's. This is Cobalt. I don't believe they sell this anymore, but I liked it because it came with this wrench here, which is a 1/4 inch and 5/16 on it. So you can use it for either one of those fasteners just directly. But then there's an adapter here that allows you to put the adapter into the 1/4 inch side. Oops, wrong side. 1/4 inch side. Then you can take any one of your sockets and you can put it on here. And so now you have a ratcheting. Oh, stuck. Yeah. So you have a ratcheting socket. So it's nice. I like it a lot. This is number 8 that I just grabbed here. But anyway, so in conjunction with this little setup, I got this wrench. I have this set right here, which is also a small, inexpensive set. This is a Stanley 1/4 inch socket wrench. I like the handle, so that's why I bought it. I have a couple of extensions here. Okay, so I've got 2 of the short extensions and one of the 6-inch ones. A 1/4 inch box end wrench. An assortment of SAE sockets. And then in the 1/4 inch metric size, I've got an 8 and a 10. Number 10 is your friend. There's a lot of number 10s on these RVs. Even though they're made in the U.S., the number 10 fastener size, for some reason, is pretty common. So you'll make sure you get number 10. There's jokes amongst the mechanics and the technicians out there. It's like, where's my number 10 socket? So you have several of those. I also carry a long reach magnet for picking up things. Then I have a shorter one, which is a little tweaker tool, has a magnet on the end. So, thing I like, this picks that up okay. But my bigger one, it won't pick it up. You see that all right? But this little dude, it grabs that right away. So this is a 9/16 1/4 inch drive socket, fairly hefty, and this holds it. This guy barely grabs it. So this I use for just grabbing a screw or two. And I can use it to take a screw and I can reach into something that's deep and I can start it that way. Also use this little one for that too. So there's several instances where the screw is way back in a device, so in the furnace mostly. You can't really get your hand in there because of the way it's designed. So you got to be able to reach in there. They come out okay, but putting them back in is a little bit of a problem. So I have those. I carry an assortment of fasteners that I pick up on the ground. A little plastic pry tool. This is designed for use in repairing cell phones. I saw on the internet someplace that somebody uses these to pry various plastic pieces apart. I'm like, hey, that's a good idea. So I went on Amazon and I found one of these things for about $8 or $10. And I bought the kit. And I keep this little one in my bag. And I use this to separate plastic parts, like the puck lights that are attached to the ceiling in a lot of coaches. This doesn't damage the floor, the roofing material, so I like those a lot. So I've got a swivel connector for that socket set as well. I carry a few nut drivers, various sizes. Don't use these very often anymore, but this bag is a convenient place to put those. I also have this little set of driver tips, very much like this one that's in the blue box. Came from a different set. I carry a various assortment of drill driver tips here. So I've got some Phillips and some number 2 Robertsons here. And I carry extras because I tend to lose them a lot. They don't stay on my drill very well if I set the drill down hard. And this is just backups. So I got a whole drawer of backups. Okay, so I carry some fasteners in there. Then I have these, a 3/8 and a 1/4 inch drill driver hex head, 1/4 inch drive size. So I use this one a lot. So just for speed's sake, I'll take a 1/4 inch socket and throw it on here, put it on my drill, and then I can zip out a nut or a bolt fast. So then I carry a few wire nuts and a band clamp or two. So that's in that bag. I had a fancy case that always fit in properly, but that broke. One of my customers gave me this bag that he had a bunch of. But hey, thank you very much. I appreciate it. All right, so next, electrical. 12-volt test light. This one I picked up off of Amazon. I do not recall how much it is, but you connect this side to a ground. This side you use to probe for 12 volts. And remember, 12 volts only on these. I do have extra lamp fuses in the truck in case I do accidentally grab a 120 volt line. But you can use this. This is a really good way to check fuses in your panel if you don't have the little LED lights that are indicate when the fuse is blown. Probing wires, probing connectors, nice little tool. Now the only thing, it just tells you that there is voltage there. It doesn't necessarily tell you how much voltage. So I saw recently that you can get one of these things that's got a little display on it here. So that might be something to pick up at some point. But I like this one. It's got a good sharp point. It's stout. You can get these at Harbor Freight as well. But I had one of those, and that broke here where the cable attaches to the handle. And that kind of upset me because I needed it that day, and I was out of one. But this is a good little tool to have. Staying in the measuring realm, I have a True RMS voltmeter, multimeter. This has a clamp-on ammeter for measuring amp draw on motors and other devices. It measures continuity, hertz. I can go in to 12 volt and 120 volt amp draw, which I liked. True RMS, meaning the circuitry in here is giving you an accurate reading. It has a backlight, and it measures the temperature as well. I have a temperature probe in my truck, so I can use this to measure the temperature of a refrigerator or something like that. So I have then a set of standard test leads that go with it. This is my everyday leads. In the truck, I have a bag that has more specialty type test leads in it, piercing, very, very long and thin to get inside like Molex connectors or some other stuff like that. Then in the same case, which is not the case for this came without a case. This is a Klein Tools bag. They sell these cases just loose at Home Depot. I carry a couple of jumper wires for doing some things. So there's a way to reset a circuit board on a refrigerator. I use it to check lights on 7-way plugs. Just jump across them. And then this is another small set of wires that I keep with me. Little 6-inch ruler. This is from my RV inspection certification body. They sell these for us. So 6 inches ruled, has an arrow on the other side. So if I need to take a photograph of something, I can put this down next to it and point to what I'm talking about. It helps warranty companies and even customers see what I'm talking about. A little flashlight. LED headlamp. It's a pretty nice little setup here. There we go. There's my headlamp. I have bigger lights in the truck, so I don't think that's all I carry. Okay, back into electrical. This here is a polarity checker with a GFCI test button on it. Get one of these. You can get these a lot of places. I think even Walmart sells them. You'll want to check the condition of your GFI circuits frequently. So maybe once or twice a year, stick these in each of the GFI circuits, push the button, it should trip that circuit. Then you go reset it, and it just gives you some peace of mind, making sure that that circuit is indeed protected. The colored lights on the back tell you if the outlet is wired properly. This here is a non-contact voltage detector, 120 volts up to 1,000 volts, and this I use to verify that when I turn a circuit breaker off, that it indeed did cut the power to things that I'm working on. So an outlet or an air conditioner or something else like that. It's just a safety thing. You don't necessarily need that. My voltmeter here also has that same capability. Okay, so here we go, some screwdrivers that I carry. You don't need a big giant set of screwdrivers. So here's what I have. Specialty screwdrivers. I use these for working in load centers. Phillips and slotted #1 size. These are rated to 1,000 volts. So 1,000 volt protection right here. I bought the whole set. I think there's 6 or 8 of them in there. I never use the big ones. I only use these little ones because that's all the RVs have, is just the small ones. A couple of slotted screwdrivers from Craftsman. These are my very first set when I first bought my very first set of tools back when I was in my 20s. Still got them. I love them. So I've got a teeny tiny one. Then I've got a medium-sized average one. Then I've got the little bit smaller size here. I have some bigger ones in the truck as well. And then #2 Phillips. I bought them because the bases indicate what they are. I thought that was nice because since I keep my screwdrivers in my bag this way, I can just look real quick and say, hey, that's P2, Phillips 2. And this one has a square silk screen on it. So I'm like, hey, that's my Robertson. Of course, you can tell by the handles they're different, but it just made a lot of sense. This is Husky. So this is Home Depot, and this one is Southwire. I believe I got this at either the Electrical Supply House or I got it at Home Depot. In the same slot I keep those, I keep a pair of these. These are dental picks, although industrial dental picks. They're nice and long, very sharp. I bleed quite frequently from these. One side is a 90-degree hook. I use the hooks mostly to reach in and grab something that I dropped. Or if I'm trying to get a wire out, I can just grab it and I can pull it, and it's nice and thin and it's easy. The long end, the pointy end, is good for indexing a screw hole. So if you're trying to line up a couple of holes on a piece of sheet metal or something like that, I shove it in there and I line up the holes and then put a screw in opposite. Just like the iron workers do, they got a tool that's something like that, and I can't think what they call it. But these are great for a lot of different things. Mostly use them for picking out things. So if I have to clean out something, I can use this end and pick at it. There are washers or gaskets in the plumbing system that need to come out and be replaced every so often, so this is great for that as well. I carry 2 because I drop them and lose them. They fall off the roof or something like that. All right, so let's go here. Okay, here we go. Adjustable wrenches, a couple of those. I got a little one, I got a little bit bigger one. Then I also have a bigger set in the truck for bigger jobs, which I don't hardly ever use, but I have them because I just carry stuff. This is a flare-it wrench. It's plastic. It has metal little tabs on it. And in your RV, you're going to find either PEX tubing with crimp connectors or PEX tubing or even flexible tubing that has a compression fitting on it. So this Flare-It is a brand that is in a lot of RVs. So they sell this tool specifically for their product, but it works on some of the other ones too. You can't easily reach some of these connectors with a set of pliers here. So if you wanted to use these guys in a situation, sometimes you can't get this in where this kind of fitting is. So they make this guy, and it works fantastic. $6 or $8, and you can get those fittings off and put them on and snug them up nicely. Invaluable, invaluable. Inspection mirror, gotta have that. This one has a light on it. It's not very bright outside, but inside a dark cabinet, it's a pretty good amount of light. So this is nice. It's pretty long. It's got a flexible head on it. So I can get behind something and I can see if there's a water leak or if there's damage caused by insects or rodents or something like that. Really, really nice tool. I carry a couple of these with me. These are nylon, they call it Exacta Plastics out of Corona, California. And they are separators. I use them for a lot of things. They are used in the military, and that's how I got these. They separate panels on aircraft with these things. And according to the technical orders for aircraft maintenance, they can only use them once. So here's one that you can't really see the tip, but it's got a little bit of gouges on the end of it, but it's still tapered real nice. But because it has those gouges in it from wedging between the sheet metal panels, they throw them away. So as a result, a buddy of mine who repairs F-18 Hornets has been saving them up for me, and every time I go to the East Coast, he gives me a big box of them. So I got a bunch of these things laying around, and they're good for a lot of different things. You don't want to scratch the panels on an RV. So on the outside specifically, everything is sealed with some sort of a sealant. So you've got butyl tape, you've got Sikaflex or some other sealant that's on there, and you may need to separate that adhesive or that sealant from the coach body. These are great for that because it doesn't scratch the paint. So plastic putty knives are good for that too. Also, I have a set of body panel removers, door panel removers for working on cars. They're nylon, they're a bit heavier or stouter. I use those occasionally to get stuff apart as well. So nice tools. Carry some markers here. I got a couple of black Sharpies here. I got a couple of silver Sharpies as well. You never know when you need to mark something. When there's a lot of wires on something, I tend to mark them so I know where they go back. So like on a refrigerator lower control board, you might have 8 or 10 different wires that go to a different spot on that board. I put a little dot, 1 dot, 2, 3, 4, up to however many. That way I don't put the wires back in the wrong spot. And yeah, I take photos of stuff too, but I'd rather mark it just to be safe. I can write on wires and take notes. Speaking of notes, I carry a notepad with me so I can write down different things. Suburban SF42Q, serial number, blah, 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 stock number 2399. So did somebody's furnace and a customer name on there as well. So I know, I can have that information. I take photos as well, but sometimes writing it down is better. Couple of stain pens. You can buy these at Home Depot or Lowe's. This is a dark walnut and a red oak, these two colors. They're very common, and then when you combine these two, you can blend almost any shade of wood that's in an RV, except for the really light blonde colors or something like that. I don't have any of the gray ones yet, not run into that yet, but you never know when you come across a scratch or something that you see as you're working on something, and you take your pen out and you swipe it across there, rub it with your finger a little while, and you can blend that scratch, and it's just added value service for the customer. A lot of times you'll find that when you take something off the wall, there are damages from the build process, and they don't necessarily take care of it when they put it together. And so I just like to keep them and take care of my customers. I carry a 3/8 inch plug for LP lines. This is brass. You never want to leave a propane line open to the atmosphere if you're working on it. Take something apart, put a plug in it, and then put it back together if you're going to be delayed at all on finishing that job. Something about propane, spiders and some other insects like the smell of that, so you want to close those up. And of course, for safety, you don't want to have somebody accidentally turn the propane on and have gas venting to the atmosphere. A couple of shop rags. These are just the plain old cheap ones that you can get at the auto parts store or at Home Depot or Lowe's or at Harbor Freight. I carry them and I use them for whatever I need them for. I wear knee pads constantly. They're mismatched set because I broke one of the other ones. So they work fine. So working around here in Arizona, you never know when you're going to kneel on a rock, a cactus needle. If you're working in a shop somewhere, you can kneel on a screw or a nail. Protects my customers' coaches. Protects my knees from heat. And of course, we have insects here in Arizona that will sting. So just safety there. And then lastly, my baby. This is a Ryobi 18-volt impact drill driver. It has a 1/4 inch spring-loaded chuck on it. I keep a number 2 Robertson and a number 2 Phillips bits on the drill at all times. This is the bigger lithium battery here with the fuel gauge, which is helpful. It's heavier though, but it's a nice size battery. But I use this thing for everything. So I love this drill. To go with this, I have a set of 6-inch bits. So we'll start at the beginning here. Number 2 Phillips. Number 2 Robertson. Another number 2 Robertson. Oh, this is my favorite one. I use the red one more than I do the non-marked one. I like this one. So I have another number 2. I have a number 3 Robertson. Hardly ever use it, but I carry it just in case. And I have 2 number 1 Robertsons. I've come across a few of those. Not crazy amount of them, but I have them in my bag just in case. It saves me a trip back to the truck. And then I carry a couple of 6-inch extensions. So there are times when I need to reach a screw that's this far back. So I throw that on there, and I got this much length. I can reach a screw way in the back. In a furnace, there is a screw set that's way back in there. You can't get your hand through there very easily. So this is my tool. So you've got a guard that covers the squirrel cage fan, or the screws are way back there as well. So this is making life easier there. So that, I think, is all I have to talk about at this moment. So if you have any questions about any of these tools that I've got here, want to know about a more specific need that you might have in your RV, whether it's what tool do I use for this project or that project, give me a call, 877-784-8988. Our website is rvguy.net, and my email is ed@rvguy.net. Thanks for watching. Watch for our upcoming video on what I carry in the truck, and then perhaps we'll go on to another one that's the tools that I have in storage that I rarely use, but I own anyway because you need it that one time, and you buy it. So have a good day. Be safe out there. Talk to you soon.